Good evening. Thank you for staying till this evening to hear my talk. I did a new deck just for this talk. It's repurposing some of the content and the practices that we have been doing at ETPL. And some of these practices are done in-house, and we have not exposed this to the public, so some of this stuff is new to you guys. So the talk is from crowdsourcing towards co-creating with community in technology commercialization. So this is what we do. We take technology that is from the labs, and we try and get them into the market. So this is the requisite slide, and I believe this is the only slide. So if nothing else, you should go to etpl.sg, and this is where you can find a lot of technologies on offer and a lot of activities that we have archived. I run a couple of lazy blog sites just to help me with my work. I cover digital media technologies, info security, speech and languages, and analytics. So to get the message out, I put this blog site up so that I can lazily blog stuff. And then the other blog is about events that we do annually. And that's the CEO of ATPL. So this is unabashedly my resume. In and out of the industry, twice with Apple, once with Apple and once with Ericsson. But what's more important is on the upper, your right-hand corner. Those are logos that we are connected with, or I'm connected with, simply because the work that we do, when we want to get technology out to the community, to enable a SME to take out new product feature, to enable a startup to happen, these SMEs or startups, they need to be resourced. They need to get funding. ETPL, being wholly owned of A-Star, which is the largest public R&D institute or organization in Singapore, we cannot fund companies. We are not allowed to fund companies. So we have to work with the other government agencies to fund you, basically. So we are connected to these folks. So this is working out to our advantage and to also the SME's advantage because, like you know, we are A-Star, so when we make a cold call to get a message across, they do respond to our emails and our SMSs. Okay, so what's involved in the way we do tech commercialization? Crowdsourcing is a very big word. We have a curated crowd. To bring a technology out to the market, we first have to know what the technology is applicable into. What are the top 3 applications? For each of these applications, who are the value chain partners? Where should we play in that value chain? Who's willing to work with us? How do we get the message out? How do we get them funded in order to work on the tech with us? How do I cross those gaps? So to do that, we have to work with, no, is this visible? Yeah, good. So we have to work with folks in commercialization, application designers, users, the whole works. Okay, this is a community approach, and we do that for a living, day in, day out. So the A-Star community, we are 4,000 researchers from over 60 countries. A-Star alone trained 1,200 PhDs, locally born and bred mostly. At ETPL, the technology transfer arm of A-Star, we have 80 specialists. That's a word I made up. Okay. Because I can't call ourselves officers to this community. It doesn't make sense. But we are specialists in our own right. So we are doing 1,300 industry projects a year. These are collaborative projects. Well, we are doing 3 licenses a week. So that is an enormous amount of activity that we are pushing out. A lot of our energies are spent trying to get the community to anchor itself into Singapore. Actually, I wasn't expecting such an international audience here. Otherwise, I would have another slide. And that slide tells you a 2010 survey from, I think, OCBC and a lot of other people about the expatriate community in Singapore. And on the average, if you're expatriate in Singapore, you should be earning, 50% of the expatriates in Singapore are earning $250,000 a year. I'm not earning that figure, but you should consider setting yourself up in Singapore. Okay, so good. I should have a second life as a stand-up comedian. Okay, so where are we now? Okay, no, so another requisite thing. So these wonderful logos at the bottom, these are the Ministry of Trade Industry community. Okay, so Singapore is very unique. We are very small. You turn to the left, you see the same chaps. You turn to the right, you see the same chaps. You sleep, you wake up, you talk to the same chaps. You go to a community, you meet, and it's the same people congregating at the same place. Okay. So we are under Ministry of Trade Industry. Our job is to support with intellectual property that is indigenously created in Singapore to support multinationals, probably about 8,000 of them anchored in Singapore, and the rest of the 50% employed, no, that's not right. About 70 or 80% of the rest of the employment is generated from SMEs. So that would be EDB for MNCs, Spring and the rest for the SME folks and the startup community. Okay, so to run my portfolio, which is, again, I repeat, right, in digital media, interactive digital media technologies, analytics technologies, info security, speech and language, software is broadly applicable in several verticals. There's no single vertical that I can source out to be able to impact in Singapore. So we have to reach out to a whole community. So to do that, I run several meetings, one-on-one, one-to-many, and I got lazier, so I decided to run a event. So this is the Media Exploits event, and Singaporean thing is to tell you the big numbers. So this is the region's largest digital media tech commercialization event. This is not a startup event. This is 44 booths worth of technologies from NTU, NUS, A-Star, and the community would be able to look at this stuff and go figure out what to do with them. Now, we brought in 350 companies, 420, this is for 2013 stats, by the way, you can read for, about them. We also bring buyers to the table. Those are the Asian News Network. That's the world's largest grouping of news and print media companies. And they come to us because they have tasted a benefit by licensing one of their member companies, the Star newspaper, have licensed a mobile augmented reality technology from one of our startups. And in 2012, the Star keynoted at the Media Exploits event saying that they have generated new readership, new revenue streams. And we decided to partner with ANN. 7 months later, we did a launch event in Singapore. And because the Star has taken the leap forward, 7 newspapers launched simultaneously. So that's the kind of effort we put in to help companies. Now we are co-creating with this group of newspaper companies. Okay, so this is advertisement now. So 4th of November, you should book your time to come to Singapore and enjoy Media Exploits 2014. We will have a major change this year. Instead of a single track, we will have 3 simultaneous tracks on advertising, e-commerce, media, wearables and sensors track, entertainment, animation, games track. Okay. So this is one way of doing crowdsourcing. Stringing together a value chain. These are very targeted value chain partners. So as a typical tech transfer office, we do licensing, we do agreements, we file patents, but there's one thing that we have to do just for Singapore's sake. We have to actually do productization in order to entice local startups, local companies to go to the next level of productization and bring out products to the market. This is an internal productization funding. We cannot fund we cannot productize every single technology. That would be too enormous. Just to give you a sense of scale, we have about 2,400 pieces of technologies. They are not products, they are just technologies waiting to be commercialized. Okay. If I were to productize every 2,400 of them, it's just too much of a task for 80 of us. So this is, we have to be selective. This particular example as a 500,000 nano lenses using nano imprint technology. Okay, and so it's quite cool, right? 500,000 nano lenses. How small is a nano? I don't even know the math anymore. I can't even visualize the scale. What do we do with this stuff? So one Temasek Polytechnic lecturer, he decided that hey, maybe you should be able to make a 3D screen overlay for your smartphone. So he did that with a MOE grant, and it worked. And we have all viewing angles. There's no need for any speed spot. You know, you don't have to do all this weird stuff just to look at the 3D image. And the whole thing leaps out on you. So we put up a productizing project together, a proposal together. Then we go source for a startup partner, because this is a startup play. And we found a founder, or we found a startup founder who was already running his own company. Similar scale, large screen. He saw this stuff, he quit his job, he started a new company. Then we ramped up production in 7 months. Poor guy is now in hospital, but that's a different story. So this takes a lot of hand-holding, and this is one way of crowdsourcing, but it's a very small scale. So another thing that we do to get the message out is to participate in talks like this. These are very conventional. I give talks like this. You will not see a single deck of slides on the technology. Okay, that deck is at least 250 slides long, and I'm not going to bore you with that. But I do that a whole lot, and this was done in Startup Asia last year. And one of those unintended thing happened. So instead of a startup coming to us to follow up, we had a large banking corporate customer who came up to us and said, oh, you've got this stuff. Can I talk to you? And the next thing you know, we have a project discussion going. So you never know what will happen when you bring this message across. So how big is our crowd? This is nano size, okay, really nano. So this is nano size, laugh like I make a joke, right? So nano size crowdsourcing. Okay, so this is an invite-only industry roundtable. We tried this in the past, let's say about 7, 8 years back, where we tried to get professionals from the same community of IT services together to sit in a round table, but it isn't really round, it's like oval shape, but somehow it's round table. We try to get discussion going, and it goes somewhat like this. Oh, I have this cool mobile augmented reality technology that is really fast, all viewing angles stuff. Now, please tell me what you want to do. And there's always a silence because nobody would share. I think the mood, the culture changed from 2010 onwards. I'm counting, so I know. So from 2010 onwards, when I did this, I was very naughty. I sent out anonymous BCC invites to the incubators. So from 2010 onwards, there is a sudden proliferation of government-appointed private incubators who dispenses grandfather, Akong money, right? So grandfather's money, okay, to the community, pre-qualified by these private incubators depending on their skill set. So I sent out anonymous invites because these are all my friends. And they don't know who's coming. I say, dear co-creators, you are known to us as blah, 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 blah. So I would like to invite you. And it was a blind invite. And when they got together in this community, they were surprised. Oh, you're here. Oh, you're here. But anyway, so they started sharing. It was very gratifying to hear that they are now very open about sharing. Because ideas now a dime a dozen. The challenge isn't in ideation, the challenge is in how to go to the next level of detail. Who's going to take the first step forward? Who's going to like raise his hand or her hands and go to the proposal stage with us? So this is very interesting. So we've got 3 groups of researchers who are vying for attention from these chaps. So I was naughty both ways. First, the blind invite to incubators, and once blind invite to the researchers, so they didn't know. Turns out that they were competing research groups doing same video analytics. This is quite fun. Okay, so another way that we do this work is to do call for proposals. Now remember earlier I said that we cannot fund companies, but somebody needs to fund these guys, right? You've got your TCS proposals from Spring, $250,000 for a proof of concept, $500,000 for proof of value, la-di-da-di-da, and if you've got the 50K iGEM, or you've got the 500K TIS funding, and all the wonderful schemes in between. So how do you get the message across? So, okay, I sort of like, arm twist is not the right word, but it was just pure persuasion until they decided to do this call for proposal with us. So basically it goes like this. I will show my 250 deck, full 50 slide deck, and I introduce to the community. Guys, look, I know you're looking for funding, so these are the funding guys. I have the tech. Now please go talk and make things happen. So there was the CFP with SITF, which is the IT Federation. They are also an appointed incubator. Another one that we did with NTU. Now NTU has their own portfolio of technologies, but they are also an appointed incubator, so they got us involved, and there was a community going. One thing that was interesting from this was, so one of the startup, I think, was a full-time employee of another company, but later on he decided to talk to us, and then he then started his own company. No technology from A-Star, was just helping him up to connect, to fine-tune his ideas, to give him, I think what he wanted to hear was, yes, I should start up, I should quit my job, so he did. I hope he's not losing sleep by now. I think he's very happy. He's pivoted again and again, but he's very happy. Okay, the other one is direct with MDA. So this was a call for proposal. Okay. Now sometimes you have willing parties, you have technologies, but we are unsure, right? You do not know whether there is a business case or not. And you don't have ability to pay for an expensive MBA co-founder. So I did the next best thing was, I know Virginia. She's an in-house entrepreneur in residence, EIR, one of those great acronyms that Singapore come up with. EIR in the INSEAD. By the way, Dr. Virginia Char was arguably the predecessor to A-Star's first tech transfer office. So she negotiated one of our first licensing deals in our collaboration with Apple. Anyway, that's a digression. So she was teaching at the MBA course in the INSEAD, and so we collaborated with that, and she put in teams of MBA students just to work on this. She has evolved the course, but she's still running. So it's a good thing too to network with Virginia and the MBA students. Because these MBA students, they will graduate, and lo and behold, you'll find them suddenly becoming the innovation VP at Google. That's one of them. Some high-flying chaps at some other corporation. So this kind of effort is very important for a community. And Virginia herself is an angel investor, so we would direct traffic to her, deal flows to her. Okay, then the other one is this. So we have about 2011, we have this piece of technology, which basically is a mobile phone app and a web service on the cloud. And I would take one shot of your face, clean, nice, properly lit shot of your face. I will strip the hair out. We'll recreate a 3D 6,000 vertex 3D model back to you. It's highly realistic. It's actually your face crafted on it, and you can like twist and turn, skew, whatever. We're going to do it. So we thought it was great technology, right? But we're going to do with it. We don't know. So what we did was we threw the problem to the community. We went and created an application competition. It's not like a hackathon. This ran for like 4 months from call to final judging. So there were 10 entries, and 2 of them were student groups. They subsequently started up, and then shortly they merged and became Gamurai over there. And this is what they do, and it's a Dr. Virginia Cha invested company at SITF. So this is one of those things that we do. Baidu, we have a collaboration with Baidu, and then they decided to do a hackathon with us. So they flew a whole team down, and the folks didn't sleep for like 24 hours, and they hacked, and there. So now we are moving towards, so up to this point in time, our efforts are largely reactionary or reactive. So if you have a problem, we have a tech, let's go talk. But what if you want to do something new together? Okay. So what is the next biggest thing since mobile phones? Wearables. Internet of Things is too broad, so we decided to just do wearables. We call this project the Next to the Skin. And again, I created a lazy blog site to archive all those info. You can go up there and take a look at that. So there are 40 technologies that we have identified that are good for wearables. We haven't made them yet, but I think it's possible. So we've got the scientists to work with the designers from the industry, to work with incubators, to work with entrepreneurs, and some corporate investors. And we locked them up for 3 days. And so 18 proposals then were selected. And if you are in Singapore in the 7th and 8th of May, there'll be a showcase on the 8th of May. This will be showcased. There'll be a pitching session. You will hear these ideas. These ideas will be led by the researchers. And we feel comfortable that they are possible to be made. It's not something that is dreamed up by marketing folks and it cannot be made. So these are possible ideas. Now, as a bonus, we partner with the NTU School of Arts, Design, Media, ADM, I think that's what they call themselves. So School of Arts, Design, Media run a wearables technology showcase every year. And so we've got them and their students to work on our tech, and they will conceptualize. So on the 8th of May, you will get the product concepts pitching and also this fashion showcase on wearables. We did this MOU, so I repeated that already. So this is the president of AAN and also the Thailand's the nation. Now, so one thing special that we did this year was to go directly to an accelerator. So this is Mike Yap. He used to be deputy CEO of MDA, and he was running all this iGEM digital media stuff. He created his own incubator about a year ago, and he has a unique model, and we are a partner of that model. His model is he has an A-team list of full-time staff to accelerate startups. So what that means is this. You've got 2 students, really cool guys, great ideas. They want to do some stuff because they know how to get it there. It's their passion, right? But you want to let them feel long, or you want to let them feel fast. So this A-team would say, oh, you want to do cloud, let me accelerate you. You want to do mobile apps, let me accelerate you. You want to go to market, let me accelerate you. And then with us as a technology partner, we are literally co-creating startups now. This is, by the way, this incubator is, by the way, located in Lorong 24A, Geylang, which is just about 200 meters away from Lorong 24. So it's quite interesting. You don't know what that means, you just Google and you will know. Okay, this is hot off the press. We are now, there's a new Innovators Network that's just been formed by ex-IE Singapore chap, and he runs his own business called the Innovators Institute, which is a enterprise corporate training school. But he will do this for free, so we're going to be part of this activity. So, what we want to do, co-creation partners. Okay. Media exploits, this is takeaway. 4th of November, go to this blog site, follow my blog, go onto my LinkedIn, okay, link me in. and I'll do a lot of coffee napping times with you.